presentations more, but I'll record everything, so I won't forget. Thanks for reminding me. Design is really important. I mean, much of what we think of as science and as research is more kind of this descriptive, you know, explaining the mechanisms and the fundamental constituting parts of the world. But there is a lot of stuff that is designed in the world, and you know, it's just you look around at the life and the world we live in. Almost everything is the result of some sort of intentional design in light of course, circumstances. Even human beings redesign themselves. These two Russian brothers who want to be beautiful have tried and failed, I would say. Firms, of course, are also designed. Everything from Amazon to IKEA are the way they are as a result of an intentional and very complex design process as well. Our universities are being designed and are being challenged by other education providers that are also being designed in light of technological affordances and the demand, etc. So I think to spend some time thinking about design and artifacts, and in particular thinking about entrepreneurship and innovation processes as design processes, I think is well worthwhile doing. I think one way to kind of categorize and distinguish, in addition to this kind of natural science, design science that Simon talks about, is from this paper by a Finnish philosopher of science called Ilkka Niiniluoto. So I use this paper when I teach a seminar in theory of science, and I think it communicates really well with our students at an engineering school, at least. And he instead of talking about basic and applied research, he talks about descriptive science and design science, and also, you know, basic technology development, where descriptive sciences are more in line with these natural phenomena, trying to describe events, trying to describe historical processes, trying to describe phenomena that exist and can be described in some sort of stable manner. And design science is more in line with the Simon's sciences of the artificial, trying to develop knowledge useful for design purposes. And that in turn is different from mere technology development, where you just apply your design knowledge to solve specific problems. And design science then, of course, needs to kind of combine theoretical insights from the more disciplinary traditions and from the descriptive sciences with deep understanding of use cases and problems to develop this type of design science. And, you know, I was toying around with trying to map our presenters on this, spectrum here. And I realized that was really, really hard. You know, where should I put people? And the interesting thing, of course, is that everyone is kind of moving about as well. So no one stays in one lane. You know, people sometimes do some consulting, sometimes do more descriptive work. Sometimes you write perhaps a book for practitioners, or just in an outlet like Harvard Business Review or something similar. And then you're clearly kind of in that design lane of the spectrum here. So I think trying to figure out what these concepts mean, how they relate to one another, and how to actually do design research is what we are gonna try to think a bit more deeply about during these 2 days. So I'm not going to talk much more now, but go through the program and then get started. So the program for today, which I'm really, really happy about the program. You know, it's better than my wildest dreams, I would say. But besides my introduction now, we're going to have a session that I've termed or titled Meta Theory and Entrepreneurial Design, which is a presentation by Sarasvathy and Raghu Garud. On more fundamental issues and how to think about, the meta theory of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial design. And then after a brief coffee break, it's just 10 minutes. So be quick on your coffee machines. We'll have a session that I called Theorizing Entrepreneurial Design, with presentations by Mattia, Bianchi and Roberto Verganti. And I think it's Pascal Masson who's going to be presenting, but with colleagues also from I think all are at HEC in
I confirm. Yes.
Mines Polytech. Yeah, sorry, sure. Mines Polytech in Paris. Then after a short wrap up, we'll be done for today. And tomorrow we start with what I've called methodology and entrepreneurial design. So it's a presentation by Christoph Seckler and colleagues from Berlin and Liechtenstein, actually, and a presentation by Dimov on these topics. How to do and evaluate and design-oriented research. And after another short 10-minute coffee break, we have a session that I call Researching Entrepreneurial Design, which is more empirical studies of entrepreneurship entrepreneurial design as kind of an empirical phenomenon, if you will. And here we have Ron Tidar and Kathy Eisenhardt and Sirkka Jarvenpaa and a colleague Xu Yingjing. And just some formalities for the presentations and for the Q&A. So each presenter will talk for about 15 minutes, no more than 15 minutes. I'll try to be strict on that. And please, everyone, stay muted during the presentations. If you can't find the mute button, it's down here. So make sure to stay muted. And then during the presentations, feel free to post questions in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat and using your questions to kind of moderate the Q&A to follow afterwards. And please also try to be brief when you ask your questions so that we use those 20 minutes well. And as I said before, I'll try to moderate the discussion. Now, I've gone a bit over time here, so I'm not going to say many more things about the journal that's coming out, but I'll make sure to come back to that tomorrow after when we conclude the tomorrow session, or perhaps later today. But with that, I'll turn it over to Saras. So please, Saras, if you want to share your screen.